Well, hello, Merry Christmas version of Mo Fun in the Kitchen. Look at this great present I got for Christmas. Mo Fun in the Kitchen. My children made me this apron and their handprints are on it with their names, all designed with their own special colors. Left some space for the ones that weren't able to make it with me. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Look at this, Mo Fun in the Kitchen. So you'll see this apron every time I'm in the kitchen. This is who named me, my children, Mo, Nanny Mo. I'm so excited. Yay, Merry Christmas present for me and for you, because you'll see it all the time now. So exciting. Today we're going to make a special kind of bread. It's basically my same bread recipe, except for the water, we're going to use milk. And instead of the sugar, we're going to use honey. And then we're going to, instead of doing rolls, we're going to make it just a little, we're going to roll it out. We're going to make a little special thing and we're going to design it in a pan. It's beautiful. You're going to love it. It's going to make this beautiful design. It's going to look like you are just like this designer extraordinaire. So we're going to get our ingredients together. We're going to use milk, honey, yeast, salt, eggs, and flour. That's it. And we'll make this beautiful cake. And instead of a cookie sheet, it's not cake, it's bread. Instead of cookie sheet, we're going to use a springform pan, and we're also going to use some dried cranberries. So get all those ingredients together. I'll put the exact amounts in the recipe below. And please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, Mo Fun in the Kitchen, and we'll be baking these things all together here in the KitchenAid with the hook, or you can mix it together by hand if you don't have a KitchenAid or don't want to use your KitchenAid and just want to use it by hand. So gather those things all together and we'll get baking with Mo in Mo Fun in the Kitchen. I have put my milk, warm milk, yeast, and honey in my mixer, and it's proofed, which means it's bubbling up and it's ready to go. Now I'm going to add half a cup of oil, 2 eggs, and my flour, up to about 7 cups of flour and 1 tablespoon of salt. And I'm going to mix that all up and let it go. Mix it all up, get it kneaded and well, and then we're going to have it rise for 75 minutes, 1 hour and 15 minutes. So I'm going to put this on a time lapse so you can watch it go. I might bring my camera over and let you watch it mix it all up while I mix it. So there we go. That's what we're going to add. And again, this recipe will be in the comments. Okay, so now when I've taken it out of the mixer and put it in a bowl, and it's going to rise for 75 minutes. You know, a greased bowl, so it won't stick to the side so well. Let it rise 75 minutes. The bread is rise. Here it is. It's all big and poofy. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Isn't that fun? Now we're going to punch it down. I know, you spent all that time letting it rise and you punch it down, but that's what makes it good and fluffy on the inside. So we're going to flour the counter here and we're going to punch it down. Poof! Pour it out onto the counter. Now this recipe is a little bit different than most recipes that we're just making rolls. We're going to do something a little bit different with this. We're going to punch it down like this, and instead of having baking sheets ready, we're going to have a springform pan ready. Springform pans are a pan that have a joint at the side so things come out of them easier. The edge is jointed here, and then this edge comes off, and then the bottom is separate, so it makes things come out easier. These are made for things like tarts and other things, but today we're gonna use it for our bread. So we have that greased and ready to come out. I'm sorry my dishwasher's running in the background, because if I open it up, then it just beep, beep, beep. So I guess it's just gonna be running in the background. So we have this dough. We have some flour on the counter. And you see I have my rolling pin out. And you're like, rolling pin for bread? Yep. So what we're gonna do is, this is my full recipe of dough. We're gonna cut it in half, and then we're gonna set half of it aside. And then this half here, we're gonna take this half, we're gonna cut it into 5 pieces. And you can pretty much just take your hand, well, depending on the size of your hand, but you know a human hand's pretty much the same size, right? So take your hand and cut it into 5 pieces. 2, 3, 4, and 5. So each one of those 5 pieces, you're gonna take, and you're gonna kind of flatten it out a little bit, and you're going to make sure your counter is nice and flat, and you're going to roll it out like this. Now he's kind of big here. You're going to roll him out so he's flat. About, I'm going to say 4 by, you're going to roll him out till he's about 4 inches by 8. 4 by 8 square, rectangle. 4 by 8 is not a square, Joe. Okay, then we're going to take a cutter. Remember I told you about that cutter? It is so good for a lot of different things. And we're going to cut some slices in him. I'm going to show you a overhead view of this as well. We're going to cut down some slices so they kind of look like fingers, but more than fingers. We're going to cut down all these slices in the top. Like this. Lots of little slices down. But you're leaving the bottom, so it looks like a hand. Looks like a hand, but lots more, like this almost. And you leave the bottom. Then in the bottom, you have a half a cup of dried cranberries that you've chopped up. And you're going to take about, I don't know, maybe a good tablespoon, maybe packed, of dried cranberries, and put them in the bottom. Then what you're going to do is you're going to fold it in and roll it up. Roll it up tight so all those fingers are rolled up like this. And then you got your springform pan, and we're going to set it on the edge of a springform pan. Like, ow, the springform pan got hot sitting in, like this. Okay, and we're going to set them all the way around the edge of a springform pan. Then we're going to let it rise. And then when it bakes, they're going to bake together in this beautiful ring bread with some cranberries inside. And if you'll remember, we have milk and honey in this recipe, so it's kind of a sweet bread. Oh, delicious, and it's so pretty. And these cracks in that you cut kind of splits. Oh my gosh, it's such a pretty bread. You'll love it. You'll just love it. So I'm going to show you the overhead version of what I'm cutting next. See what we're doing here? We're just cutting little skinny fingers, like just little skinny fingers like that. So they're nice, and we're going to take about, just a little bit of cranberries and put them in there. And we're going to tuck these edges in, and we're going to start rolling. So all those little fingers end up on top, like that. Okay, so one more time. You take a fifth of the half of your dough, so I guess it's a tenth of your dough, and you just plop it out, and you just give it a roll. You roll it out till it's a 4 inches wide and about 8 inches long. Just like that. It doesn't have to be perfect, just so it's flat. You could probably even flatten it out with your fingers, but that's what I do. And then you take a cutter and you cut fingers like this.
Just more than 4, no, more than, 5 fingers. You just cut them out like this. And then you've chopped some dried cranberries. See those fingers? This is what's going to make the bread look so sweet, pun intended. Then you've chopped some cranberries, some dried cranberries. You have a half a cup of them hanging around. You put about that many. Then you tuck these edges in and you give it a roll. You roll it up like this. See how those fingers are coming up there like that? Then you've got your springform pan all ready, and you're lining the edges of your springform pan like this. You tuck them all in like that. We're going to put them all the way around the edge here, and then they're going to rise and just make this beautiful bread. So pretty. Okay, so here she is out of the oven. Look at how beautiful that is. See, it's just gorgeous. Woo-hoo-hoo. Put her in for about 20, 25 minutes, just so she looks, she'll be brown, but you could put a piece of foil over top of it so it doesn't get too brown. And then when she comes out, then you find the thing at the side, right here, like this. And you go over to it, and this, because it's a springform pan, then you pull it like this, and it opens it up. And then when you bring it out, then you've got that beautiful crust of the bread at the side of it. Then this is a plate, and it just lifts right off, and you can put it on a gorgeous plate to present it to your company, and it just pulls apart, and oh, it's just divine. So there is your gorgeous Christmas cranberry bread.